So like, all right, so I have a question that I don't know if you know the answer to, but like I feel like the Broncos a few years ago were the epitome of that team where like they spent big in free agency, right? Like they got the pieces that they need to make that defense. They got guys like Peyton Manning and they surrounded him with a whole bunch of talent and the prize out of that was a Super Bowl ring. Like you did it. You won the Super Bowl. Yay. And so now that you have like all those people gone, because like everyone who says like, hey, just dive into free agency and you could be like the Broncos. You could win now. There's a window for Peyton Manning and you got to get it before they close. I hear this all the time with Aaron Rodgers. And so as a Broncos fan, like for you, where you are right now in kind of like this transitional, like weird phase, is it worth it to like kind of go balls to the wall, all in on free agency for a better, and I'm using better in like quotation marks because it always doesn't work out, like to get a Super Bowl ring and then have a few years where you're not necessarily in playoff contention?
Oh yeah, totally worth it.
Okay.
That Super Bowl victory is, I think, like after that happened, I said that buys Elway and Kubiak 10 years to do whatever the hell they want. And Kubiak only lasted 1 year, so um, it's tricky. Every organization's different. I think like if I had Aaron Rodgers, and I think the Packers are in a good situation right now where it looks like your defense is going to be better than it has been in quite a while.
Yeah, just because they're
And
alive, but yes.
right, yeah. And I mean, you have Aaron Rodgers and a new head coach kind of figuring each other out and how that offense is going to come together. And if the Packers don't get deep into the playoffs this year, I don't know what your cap situation's like this offseason, but if I were the Packers GM and I could add a handful of high caliber free agents in the 2020 offseason, I would definitely try to do it to sneak in that window while you still have Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
I didn't know Peyton Manning's would decline so rapidly, and I don't think that's going to happen to Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Rodgers does have kind of a shitty injury history
Yeah,
over the last couple of years. So you never know.
it's true.
And Packers, they've been pretty good at drafting players for the most part. So that's always positive. But yeah, but you can spend a lot of money on free agents and none of them pan out.
Correct.
We've seen that happen plenty of times in the NFL.
Absolutely. Yeah. So like that's what I'm saying. It's always a gamble. Like so like right now, for like the first time since I've been alive, Brian Gutekunst is just like, hey, we're gonna go out and spend a crap ton of money on free agents. And like it has seemed to pay off. Right. We have Amos who's doing well, Zadarius Smith, who oh my God,
Right.
I love that man with all my heart and soul and would die for him. And I like it's only been 2 weeks. And then even Preston Smith, like just the amount of pressure we're getting on opposing quarterbacks, it is night and day compared to what we've done in the past like 5 years. And
Right.
so in that case, you're just like, yes. And there is a little bit of like, man, if we did this a little bit sooner, maybe like, those times where we made the NFC Championship, we could have actually gone to the Super Bowl a little bit because like in Green Bay, usually everyone sticks around a little bit too long than they should have. But it feels like with this changing of the guard with the new GM, new head coach, what have you, like we're not afraid to let guys go, even if they're like fan favorites like Jordy Nelson or Randall Cobb or Clay Matthews, what have you. But I agree. Like this is the first time that I can actually like look at this defense and being like, oh, they actually could win us a game. Oh, okay. Like that's
Yeah.
such a weird, different feeling.
I mean, seeing how excited Rodgers was after that first game about the defense was awesome.
Yeah.
And you like just his reaction, you
He's
could
just like,
tell
thank
like he is
God.
not used to having that.
Yeah.
And I think it'll definitely pay off, and it should pay off this season. And once the offense puts a full game together, I think we'll be like, oh shit, the Packers are really good. And then it looked like they were going to do that last week
Yeah.
against the Vikings, but then I don't really know exactly what happened after.
No one
What
does.
did the Packers score 3 touchdowns in
Yep.
the first quarter?
Yeah, it was like 3 in a row, and I think it was like the beginning of the second quarters when they scored their last one, and then they were just like, okay, I'm done now.
Yeah. I mean, that could be the Vikings defense plays better,
Yeah.
or the Packers kind of just go into cruise control mode. But they, if they played the Dolphins, they could definitely score over 50 points, I think.
I mean, at this point, I'm like, there's always that question of just like, if the best college team ever played the worst NFL team, and everyone's like, no, the NFL team would always win. I'm like,
We might have the best case we've ever seen.
Yeah, like this is ugly. This is real. Like when there's a team that is putting up almost 100 points in just 2 weeks on you, that's bad. Like that's real bad.
It's historically bad. And I think I was checking the stat, and I believe the defense that's given up the most points in a season, it was the Baltimore Colts, and it was like 533 points.
Oh Jesus!
And the Dolphins are on pace to give up like 826 points or something.
That's the greatest stat I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, it does not look good there. I think they've really, I don't know, been unfair to Josh Rosen. They keep putting him into the game when the team has already given up.
Yeah.
It's literally like the worst thing you could do.
I feel so bad for him because he got such a crap deal in Arizona because they didn't give him any offensive line. He had no help whatsoever. And then they're like, okay, let's ship you off to the Dolphins. Oh, and he's like, okay, well, at least I have a good tackle. And then Tunsil gets off the team too. And he's like, shit. Well, now here we go again. I'll go in when we're down 40 points and I'll try to make a comeback, guys. And because if they're tanking it right. And they're just going to bring some high caliber quarterback in next year. And Rosen's going to be like, well, maybe next year I'll be able to be an actual quarterback somewhere. Like, I feel so bad for him. And I just want him to do well.
Yeah, it's like the first time we could see a first-round drafted quarterback traded back-to-back seasons after being taken in the first.
Yeah, Jamarcus Russell, I don't even think has that distinction. So